Hello, this is Scott McDonald at DrDemographics.com. And I want to share with you, I think it's pretty interesting. This is an examination of why professional practice buildings exist. In other words, plazas that are dedicated to various healthcare offices and why they may be disappearing. Now, I'm not saying that their purposes doesn't exist anymore. I think they do. However, it is also true that the reasons that they existed to begin with are not the same reasons they continued to be used. Remember, back in the day, doctors were not allowed to advertise. They weren't allowed to put anything but a very small shingle that would just list in very simple terms their name and what it is they do. And even that was highly regulated. So because of this, there became a need to give doctors something they had in common, something to support the referrals to other offices. It was done very much as a means of, well, first of all, it was less expensive to have a professional office building along with other doctors. They would be able to refer easily to offices, even a lab for a phlebotomy clinic, for example, in order to have services that would not be provided within the office. And they would have this as a convenience factor to their patients. They could also refer for other things that didn't seem particularly related, like a general dentist might refer to an optometrist. And there were several of them in close proximity to their office. There were also services that they received from, say, the salespeople or other kinds of labs or management services like bookkeepers or those people who were offering services of clinical care. So anesthesia, we would often have an anesthesiologist who'd go from office to office in scheduling his day. With that in mind, there was a reason why doctors would cluster together. But because there's so much more specialization and retail office spaces taking the place of a lot of these professional office spaces, it became a little rarer. You see, now you can put up a shingle anywhere. You can refer or not refer to someone else who might be nearby. It became far easier, by the way, to buy and sell an office space, even if the office space was not occupied by somebody in exactly your profession. Having another doctor in that space made sales easier or purchase easier of the site. Parking was usually safer. There was security that often went along with it. And so, yeah, there were benefits, but some of those benefits are disappearing right now in retail spaces. It is also a fact that in a lot of places, parking has always been an issue. But if it was a place where with the practice site, there was also signed parking spaces, it became a little easier to be able to protect the investment that you had within the building. Now, I'm not trying to say those were the good old days. I don't think they were. There were things that were challenges about them. Heaven knows some practices didn't get along well with each other who may not even be in the same profession. Nevertheless, it is also true that there was a certain support that they had for each other. Practices that may have gotten into trouble, that needed referrals, even if it wasn't in your field, was more common than you might know. So there was a community of doctors that existed there. Now, I'm not talking about the high-rise office buildings that became big in the 30s, 40s, and even 50s in major metropolitan areas. I'm primarily talking about suburban-based healthcare offices. There were very often hospitals that were close by and provided a place for doctors to be on call, to receive clinical support from other doctors. And it was a place, kind of a clearinghouse, if you were, of patients and other services they might have, especially with very expensive diagnostic and treatment options, equipment. Now, I want you to know this because I was asked recently, where should I go? Should I consider one of these offices or not? The desirability of the office has to do with the other practice options that are surrounding. If you've got accountants, you've got labs, you've got other diagnostic equipment that's available to you, like significant X-ray or imaging machines, yeah, it can be a good idea to have them in close proximity. But it's not quite what it used to be. I mean, the salesperson for medical and dental could at the time was necessary to actually see people in person. Now they can go online and order at a discount gloves, masks, and other equipment and treatment options. Now, if you want to know how good your area is and the viability of that site, please give us a call at drdemographics.com, and we look forward to answering any questions you might have. And thanks so much for watching. A larger version of this is found on our website. Take care.